Aimsy here of Aimsy's Antics. Welcome to my channel. I hope you are well today because we are getting back into the Christmas spirit by doing some more Christmas crafting. Now in this video that is how to make your own candles, and we're doing that in 3 different ways. So 2 will be candles that are more decorative and look a bit more like a coffee cup or a latte cup, and then the other is a wax melt, which is basically a wax shape that you fragrance and then melt down in a wax burner, similar to the one that is behind me on the side over there, which releases the fragrance once the wax starts melting. So if it sounds like something you are interested in making, then let's get crafting. To make these chocolate latte candles, you are going to need some soy wax for containers, your chosen fragrance oil, a metal jug to melt your wax in, and a thermometer to monitor the temperature. You will also need some latte or mulled wine style cups, some wicks that are long enough and sticky dots to stick these into your chosen cups, candle colourant in brown, a jug or bowl, a whisk and a spoon. Start by weighing out your soy wax. For one candle I required 160 grams. Then measure out your fragrance oil. I am using spiced chocolate macaroon here, and it is 16 grams of fragrance oil needed per candle. Melt the soy wax over a pan of hot water and add in your chosen colourant. I am using a chocolate brown colour here. Whilst the wax is melting, prepare your latte cups by sticking in the wicks. I'm using some sticky foam dots here, but you can use hot glue as well. Make sure you centre your wicks in the container, and you want to keep the wick as straight as possible once the candle is setting. When the wax is melted and at the correct temperature, add in your fragrance oil. Make sure you mix this in thoroughly to fully incorporate it to the melted wax. When your wax has reached its pouring temperature, pour it into your waiting latte cups. Don't forget to add in your wick stabilisers to keep those wicks nice and straight whilst the wax cools and sets. Allow your candles to cool and set before moving on to the next step. Measure out 100 grams of soy wax and 10 grams of your chosen fragrance oil. Melt your soy wax over a pan of hot water in a bowl and add in your fragrance oil once it has reached the correct temperature. Allow this to cool and start forming a skin. Then, using a whisk, begin whisking your cooling wax until it resembles whipped cream consistency. Now be careful with this because it can be over whipped, but if you find it is getting too stiff, then just melt it down a bit again and re-whisk it. Using a spoon, place some of your newly whipped wax around the top of your candle, incorporating the wick in the middle of this. For an added touch, you can shave down some wax and use these as sprinkles on the top. So all you need to do for this is melt down some wax, colour it, place it into a mould, allow it to set, and then use a cheese grater to create the shavings. Once this has set, you have your very own chocolate caramel latte candles. For the gingerbread latte candle, it is very similar to the chocolate caramel one. You just need to measure out your soy wax and fragrance oil. I am using Nutcracker fragrance oil from the Candle Shack for this one. Check the description box below for all measurements needed. Melt down the soy wax and add in your colourants. I'm using 3 different ones here to try and get a gingerbread type shade to the candle. Then prepare your containers for the candles. I am using glass punch cups for this one. When the wax is the right temperature, it is time to add in your fragrance oil. Now the Nutcracker one that I am using has a slightly gingerbready smell to it and it's just gorgeous. Mix it in thoroughly to make sure that it is fully incorporated to the wax. Again, when your wax is at the pouring temperature, pour this into your waiting containers and then stabilise the wicks with some wick stabilisers. Now be careful with this because, as you will see in a little bit, I had my wax level a bit too high, which meant the wick stabiliser was sat in the wax. So once it was set, there was a big imprint of the wax stabilisers. Now I planned to leave these candles as they were, but because of the imprints of the stabilisers, it was time to make some more of the wax whipped cream to go on top and to hide the imperfection of the candle. So melt down some more wax, then add in your fragrance oil, allow it to set slightly before whisking this into a whipped cream consistency. Once it has reached the right consistency, use your spoon to spoon it on over the middle of your candle, building it up slightly around the wax. Obviously, you can miss this step out if you have managed to create nice smooth punch cup type gingerbread candles. I've just had to add this because of them imperfections. You could make these candles in teacups as well, and I will link a card above to my previous video of how to make teacup candles. Allow the whipped wax to set, and you can add in some sprinkles as well like you did on the previous candle, and then you have your gingerbread latte style candles. To make Christmas wax melts, you are going to need some soy pillar candle wax, a mould for this. So I am using a Rolo chocolate mould, but I also use some Christmas style mould when I made other versions of these wax melts. Your chosen fragrance oil, some wax colourant, a metal jug to melt your wax in, a thermometer to monitor the temperature of your wax, a container for your fragrance oil to measure out into, and a spoon. Start by measuring out your soy pillar wax. I needed 160 grams to fill my mould. Also measure out 16 grams of cranberry fragrance oil. Then melt your wax in your metal jug and add some colourant. I am going for a nice red colour here to represent the cranberries. Then add in your fragrance oil once the wax is at the right temperature, again stirring this in thoroughly to fully incorporate it to the wax. When your wax has reached the optimum temperature for pouring, pour this into your mould. Now you can pour it with the spout of the jug or spoon it in with your spoon, whichever is easiest to you and whatever you are using. Allow these to cool and set fully before removing from the mould. Once you have removed them from your mould, your wax melts are ready. have how to make 3 different types of candles or candle related products for this Christmas time. Perfect for adding a bit of fragrance and decor to your own home, as well as giving away as gifts to your family and friends this Christmas time. Because who doesn't love a handmade gift? I know I do. Now, because these are candles, obviously you need to follow some safety precautions, so make sure you do your research when you are making these candles and never leave a candle unattended once it is lit. You also want to make sure you get the right thickness of wick for each of your candle containers. Now, because these are built up candles and a bit more decorative, it may be more advisable to just keep these as decorative pieces rather than lighten them, but obviously again do your own research and use with caution. Now, if you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to check the subscribe button to keep up with more of my crafting and travel antics coming up onto the channel. Check my blog out below as well, because there is always a post for every video that is posted on the channel with a little bit more information on how to make these fabulous candles, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!